Hello, this is SME On Point. My name is Diabositso. Thank you so much for watching. As South Africans brace themselves for Monday's EFF-inspired national shutdown, small businesses are already overwhelmed by the persistent load shedding and low consumer confidence, are wondering how this will affect their businesses. If they choose to shut down just in case, this means that the loss of one day's revenue. But can they afford this? I've invited the CEO of the Small Business Institute, John Dludlu, a friend of the show, as well as Bheki Thwala. He's the president of the Township Economic Commission in South Africa. Just to gauge sentiment of SMEs, the economic freedom fighters have announced the national shutdown this coming Monday, particularly to highlight South Africa's socio-economic issues. This includes load shedding. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on SME On Point. John, let me start with you. In news just in, as a matter of fact, Eskom has just decided to reduce their load shedding stages to stage 2. Surely this is welcomed from your members' point of view, isn't it?
Thank you, Diego, for inviting us and to the listeners and to Bheki. Greetings. This is obviously very welcome, but we do know that Eskom is not able to sort of give a long-term outlook. So this downgrade to stage 2 is a temporary relief, perhaps for the weekend. And what we really do want is we want to see a more sustainable, durable solution to ending load shedding. So, I mean, we agree completely with the EFF demands, except for one, because we're not a political party and we're a non-political organization. So we cannot pronounce on whether the president stays or doesn't stay, but we agree completely with all their calls for the end to load shedding, the resolution of the cost of living crisis, as well as resolving youth unemployment and general unemployment in the country and poverty.
Yeah.
And regrettably, we try to have an engagement with the leadership of the EFF, and up until now, we haven't been able to sit down with them and have an audience.
Mr. Bheki Thwala, the intention of the strike, as Mr. Dludlu has mentioned it, that of course it's one that touches on your members as well, seeing that we have Eskom downgrading to stage 2, but the impact of the load shedding and all socio-economic conditions have also impacted on your members who are township entrepreneurs. Just how bad is the situation and what is their feeling around Monday's shutdown?
Yeah, thank you very much, Diabo, and also good afternoon to the viewers at home, and good afternoon to Mr. Davis. Thanks for having us. Yeah, the Monday issue is very concerning, most especially with the businesses in the township. Yes, unfortunately, we don't have a positive history of those activities that go smooth without activities that are untoward towards the businesses in the township. All what we need to do is that we just have to say to the businesses, let them be cautious, make sure that, they protect their businesses in terms of making sure that if they find it's not, easy, dangerous for them, they must, act very strictly, to close their shop. But it is a dire state. For example, the township businesses, they can't really afford even a day, not opening, their businesses.
Yeah.
After the COVID, after the riot in 2021, and also after the flood, and also the load shedding.
Yeah. John, let me come back to you. I suppose the question on a lot of people's minds is their violence and chaos that's often associated with any protest action, irrespective of which political party is protesting or the strike, and obviously how businesses then begin to lose and maybe have to close their doors for safety reasons. What have you said to your members, those who have decided that they cannot afford to close, even if it's for one day, about how they can keep their operations going while keeping themselves and their customers safe?
Thanks, Diego. I think it's really up to the law enforcement agencies to assist in this respect, because if you're a big business, you're able to sort of hire private security and protect yourselves and your employees. and your infrastructure and your suppliers as well. But if you're a small business, hiring private security is a luxury that we cannot afford. What concerns us the most now about the shutdown next week is the coincidence. It coincides with other protest actions. For example, the house strike is still going on. The protests at Wits University are still going on and have not been resolved. The police are planning their own protest in another week or so. And then joining 2 organizations or 3 organizations to participate in one strike action does not guarantee that there will be discipline and that there cannot be incidents of opportunists who take advantage of the situation and start perpetrating violence. So what we have said is to our members, if you can, please do shut down, close for the few hours that the protest action is around your area. But I think it would be reckless to say, please shut down completely. SMEs are in a very vulnerable state. They cannot lose one day of trading.
Yeah. Unfortunately, gentlemen, this is all I had time for this hour. Mr. Bheki, I did hear your views earlier about how township businesses honestly cannot afford to close, even if it's for one day. Unfortunately, your line was not very clear as well. But thank you very much for contributing to this conversation. I had with me, Mr. John Dludlu, who's the CEO of the Small Business Institute, and Mr. Bheki Thwala, the president of the Township Economic Commission South Africa, and they were talking about the impact that the march or the shutdown that is likely that will happen on Monday will impact on their members, both saying that small business community honestly cannot afford to close, but for safety reasons and just to avert the stress, rather close down until this has passed through.